Hey, what's up, Chooms? Welcome back. We've had the official gameplay reveal of how the Cyberpunk TCG works. Disclaimer here, all of this stuff that I'm going to talk about, it is subject to change. Disclaimer in the gameplay guide that says everything is subject to change, and there has been confirmation. Some things are very stripped down just to show what general gameplay is like. So I'm only going to be going over a little bit and my initial reactions and thoughts. If you want to see like a full gameplay guide how to play, I'll link Main Deck's channel, his video. He was partnered with WeirdCo to be able to put this together. I'm only going to go over a few things that come to mind. All right, so the first thing I do want to go over is the play area. Well, actually, let me get the official one out first. There we go. So this is what the play area looks like from your perspective. The field, the dice area where you pull the dice for your gigs. The top is where you put your gigs. So these are the zones essentially when you're playing with somebody else. The blue is where all your gigs go, whether that be from the starting position on the left or when you roll them and you put them up at the top in those two zones up there. I believe it's the one on the left is yours, the one on the right is your rivals. The green area, that's your field. The red zones, the one on the right is your main deck, and the one on the bottom left is where your legends start. The little pink area, that's where your eddies go when you sell something and you get eddies for it. So that it's essentially like a resource. Think of it like energy and mana. That's essentially what that is. Okay, so one thing I wanted to bring up was these legend cards. They start face down. If you saw in my previous video, I think it was the previous one or the one right before that one, legends appearing face down. I would like to say that I called it right. Minimum of 3. I said that before. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be 3 legends face down. They get shuffled, randomized, so you don't know which one is which, right? Some people were talking about in the Discord where, oh, that's still too much randomization. Like it's too RNG, yada, 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 yada. I get that, but at the same time, from the legend abilities that we've seen, they're not very powerful, like game breaking. If anything, they give bonuses, like they give that little nudge in a direction. You get what I'm saying? I don't see how the RNG factor is just too big. It really does not feel that way from everything that I've been seeing how the gameplay works. To top it off, it costs 2 power, 2 eddies to reveal one. So like those 3 legends there, right? If they're in that ready position, you could literally tap 2 of them and flip one that you tapped and see which legend it is. They only cost 2. So if you end up selling cyberware or gear or whatever for eddies, is how you get, more energy. Every single turn you could reveal a legend. So by turn 3, if you're doing 1 legend a turn, you're gonna have all your legends out anyways. And if you sell 1 eddy, right, or you sell 1 card to get an extra resource, you tap 4 of them and then reveal 2 legends at once. So I don't see the whole, oh, but it's too RNG. I don't see that argument being an actual argument. And to top it off, there are cards like Kuroshi Optics, as I mentioned in my previous videos. When you attack with it, a unit that has that equipped, you could take a look at the legend without revealing it. So okay, I know this legend, I don't want to use it yet. Or maybe I do want to use it. Make your decision from there. If it's not something that you want, well, now you have a 50-50 chance of hitting the one that you want because you know what that card is. You know what I mean? So I don't see that being a problem, honestly. It's 5 or 6 legends out there. They have complete game swinging abilities. From what we've seen, that is not the case. Obviously, power creep is a thing, so it might be. In the current state, no. Oh, and another thing somebody thought was, oh, cheating, manipulation of where the legends are placed, and so on and so forth. The only way cheating can be a thing with the legends is if WeirdCo, which I hope that they don't do, is make it so that way if this legend is in the leftmost position, is in the middle position, or is in the rightmost position, it gives an extra whatever. Because that right there will feel really bad. That will feel really bad. Or even something like if this is the first legend revealed or the last legend revealed. That one I'm a little bit more okay with, but the positional one, that one is going to be an issue, like big time. Because at that point, people are really going to feel like cheating. Like, oh, I got to make sure this legend is here and this legend is here so I could get my bonus, my bonus on top of bonuses, Whereas the one where it's like first or second or third revealed, you have your attacks, you check it real quick. Okay, this is my last one, so at the very least I know I'm going to reveal this one last, so let me do the other two. You know, it's a lot more fair. So again, hopefully Weird Code doesn't do a positional bonus system with that. That right there would be a problem. Progress through the game, you can see how it sort of plays out. We have a few dice out there, rolled various numbers, which is street cred. Now here's the thing, when I first heard that there was going to be dice, I had a concern about the RNG. However, based on everything we've seen, how it's played, the value of the dice on the initial roll especially, it has a slight effect, a slight impact, but not to the degree that most people are worried about like I was. And the reason I say that is because one thing that people brought up initially was, oh, is this going to play like Star Wars Destiny, where you roll the dice and that determines essentially what your attack is going to do, right? So if you do a low roll, you're going to do a weak attack, and that is just way too RNG. This, thankfully, is nothing like that. You roll the dice. The value of the dice is your street cred, and dice in this game represent your gigs. If you hold 6 of them at the start of your turn, you win. But to get back to the point of the dice rolling, so you roll a dice. There are a lot of ways to manipulate dice rolls, from cards to legends. Like if you see at the top right, the blue card, that is a Jackie card, and it says when you play your first blue card, you can choose a gig and increase its value by 2. So that is dice manipulation or value manipulation right there. The other factor that people seem to always forget in the discussion with Discord about, oh, it's so RNG, what if you have low rolls the whole time? When you attack and your attack goes unblocked, you steal gigs from your opponent, you steal dice from your opponent. So if you have a low value dice and you attack and you're able to steal one, you could steal one of their high value dice. Like there's a lot of swinging and tug of war sort of aspect to this game, which I do like. And to top it off, not all decks rely on street cred. Some will if you build around it, in which case you would build more dice manipulation, but you also don't need to build a deck that really cares about street cred, and you could focus on something else. That's why I'm saying street cred, the dice rolls in and of themselves are not make it or break it sort of thing. They can be if you make it your deck that way, in which case you would manipulate a lot of your dice rolls after the fact. But as it stands, I think this is perfectly fine, because at the end of the day, what matters most is how many gigs or how many dice are in your zone when it's your turn. You could have 6 nat 1s, but if you have 6 nat 1s at the start of your turn, you win the game. So essentially the example that they gave in the guide is that you can have 2 low value dice versus 1 high value dice. The 2 2s are closer to winning than the 1 12. I feel like when people hear dice, they get immediately worried, and rightly so, that's fine. But once you understand that the dice rolls in and of themselves are not gonna make you win or lose immediately, and to top it off, you have dice manipulation to manipulate the value of the dice, the RNG is not even an issue. You know, so that's my 2 cents on that. So I'm excited to see how it all plays out, and I'll also link, by the way. Okay, so here's where that disclaimer comes in. The Cyberpunk TCG Alpha Kit, which is the one that they showed on the stream, is intended as a closed experience. Players will pick one of 2 decks and stick to those without customization. To build your own deck once the full game is available, stick to these requirements. Use exactly 3 legend cards with unique names. They go in that legend zone area that I talked about earlier. Include no less than 40 and no more than 50 cards, not including your legends. So technically speaking, for a minimum of 43, a maximum of 53 if you really want to combine it that way. Use no more than 3 copies of the same card. Cards must stay within the RAM limit set by your legends. Cards can only be included in decks with sufficient RAM. Your legend sets the RAM limits for your deck. The RAM color values on each card in your deck must be less than or equal to your legend's total RAM color values. So essentially what this means, since you can have 3 legends, that means you can have 3 colors in your deck. Flexible 3 colors, but the RAM costs, if they're low, you'll have more flexibility, but maybe as individual cards, not the highest strength. You get what I mean? Whereas if you're all in on green, red, blue, you can have some really powerful individual cards that are like monsters, but you're sort of narrowing your focus on how your strategy works. You get what I'm saying? So here's the card anatomy, and the one I'm going to focus on is the RAM, because that is what we just discussed. You can see it's in the top right area of the card, right? So the legends, they'll say something like ×2, like V Corporate Exile, she has ×2, and Jackie Wells, I believe, is also a ×2. So if you have 2 legends with ×2 blue, right, that means the blue cards that you can include in your deck can go up. That requirement at the top right can be a ×4 or below. If you have a V Corporate Exile ×2, then let's say green legend, that's a ×2, and a yellow legend a ×2. All those do not add up to a ×6 for all your cards. ×2 only for that color. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, if not, check out the tutorial video that I listed below for main deck. So my thoughts on this is I actually really like it. It's a deck requirement I think has a lot of value because it makes you decide, as I described earlier, on either flexibility or a very hard focus on one strategy. I really do like how this is at the moment. Obviously, we won't know to the full extent of the flexibility of the cards and how it all plays out. If it's overpowered, underpowered, if they need to change something, we won't know until it's fully released. So now I'm going to go over some ideas that I had when I saw the gameplay. But it just shows how I'm already thinking of combinations and what's possible. So in total, this combination that I'm thinking of, let's say you have Goro out there, you played him a previous turn, and now he's ready to attack. So you go and attack him, and then you spend him. He's spent. So now he attacked, whatever. He got his little bonuses for attacking because that's what he does. He gets +1 for each legend that is revealed. So he'd be doing 8 damage, right? Let's say you do that. Okay. Let's say you have 10 energy, right? Or 10 eddies. You play Floret and you bring Goro back into your hand, okay? You play Goro, he would go ahead and be, right? So there's 3, then there's 4 for 7. Then you play a Sandavistan and then you attach it to the Goro and then he attacks again for another 8. These little combinations that we have already seen in the alpha kit that probably not possible considering how expensive it is from what we've seen. But again, it's still possible if you're selling a bunch of shit and getting your eddies up. Thinking of these little combinations is just really fun. Okay, so here's the card gallery of what's in the alpha kit. We don't have actual alpha kit numbers as far as how many of each card is in each deck and so on and so forth. The thing to keep in mind is that the RAM cost, the deck requirement cost, they don't match what's in the alpha kit. You know how it has to have a certain amount of RAM on the card to match the legend and everything. Alpha kit is not like that. Like I said, it's a very stripped down version. All of this is subject to change. Please remember that. Link below so you can go ahead and click on each one, get a bigger view of each one, read them and everything. Yeah, have fun with it. All right, so with that, that's the end of the video. I really hope you're liking what you're seeing so far, and if you are interested, definitely join Discord. Check out the official gameplay reveal. I'm telling you, if you're a fan of Cyberpunk and TCGs, this is definitely one to look out for. The Kickstarter launches on March 17th. It's not live yet, but it is up there to where you could be notified for when it launches. Just check it out, even if you have the slightest interest in it. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to play this and get my hands on it. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.